Now let's look in further depth at each of the elements of a resume and learn how to make a resume stand out. This is a very obvious one. Your resume must contain your personal information. This is usually in the header for easy reference. Please ensure this is kept to a minimum and is up to date. Clearly state your full name, your address, your contact number. Usually a mobile number is much better because or whatever number is easiest to contact you on. Your personal email address. Now make sure this is an appropriate email address that sounds professional. And then optional info that may be required, such as a website link, a portfolio link, or perhaps your visa status if you're working abroad and that's a requirement. And what about the big question, should I include a photo? Now the answer is no. Unless you're applying for a position that specifically requires a photo like a modeling or an acting role. The global job market has developed considerably and most places stand by strict non-discrimination policies. Regardless of this, your knowledge and capabilities should speak for you, not your looks. If you choose to include an opening statement, it's very important to open strong. The top of your resume is prime real estate. Use it wisely to showcase why you are the perfect candidate for the target job. In the past, it was very common for the opening statement to be in the form of an objective, through which candidates would tell prospective employers what they are looking for or what they would like from the job or experience. Instead, it's much more powerful if you give employers a summary of how you will add value to their company. The opening statement is critical because it will draw the recruiter's immediate attention, so make it strong and to the point. Have you heard of the term elevator pitch? This statement is your elevator pitch, and you will have the opportunity to expand on your experience later on in the resume and, of course, in your accompanying cover letter. Now, your personal statement will probably be the shortest section in your resume, but you must give it thought and may end up trying out many variations before you settle on the best one. Also, please remember your opening statement should be tweaked to suit the particular position you're applying for. Here are some examples of strong opening statements. Read them out loud and think of the impression they convey. But now, what if you are just starting out and don't have any work experience? In this case, you may wish to highlight the qualifications you have, state what drives you, what you are bringing to the table, and your objective. Have a look at the next two examples. Remember, opening statements are optional, so you can choose not to include one if you prefer to wait until you build up some experience. Here's a helpful tip. It's very important that if you do choose to write an opening statement, avoid using cliches. Cliches are obvious and dull. Recruiters will pick up on these immediately and may have heard the same thing over and over again. They are not meaningful and can reflect negatively on your resume. The work experience section of your resume is one of the most important and should contain all your relevant work experience. You will of course include details of your current and previous jobs, if any, but do include internship experience as this is valuable information, especially if you have not yet started a formal job. When you are describing your experience, please be conscious of the tenses you use. Use present tense for current experience and past tense for previous experiences. Now, what information should you include under each experience? The name of the organization, your job profile, and the time period you worked there. Next, include a brief description of the actual work you did. Mention any specific responsibilities or special accomplishments. It is always important to be precise. For example, if you worked in the marketing team, state exactly what you were involved with, like maybe you conceptualized and rolled out 3 social media marketing campaigns and at the same time maintained a live chat on the company's website. This type of information really enhances your application, particularly if you are applying for a marketing-based role. If possible, also include measurable accomplishments, such as increased website traffic by 15%. This section is usually written in reverse chronological order, but in case there are particular experiences you wish to highlight that are more relevant than the most recent position you held, feel free to write it in functional order, as recruiters tend to skim resumes top down. Under the education section, you should provide information on your educational background and academic achievements in reverse chronological order. This means that you start with the most recent first. For example, a master's degree is obtained after a bachelor's degree, therefore a master's degree should be listed above a bachelor's. If you're currently pursuing a degree, this should be right at the top. State the degree you are working towards and indicate that it is ongoing. Also indicate your current GPA or aggregate grade. You should not list all the courses you have studied, but choose ones that are relevant to the job and worth highlighting. For recent graduates, education is your main selling point, since you may not have that much to include in the previous section. Now, skills are a very important part of your resume, especially for jobs where employers are looking for a certain skill set. This is really your chance to showcase that you have what it takes. Now, please be careful. This doesn't mean that you start writing a never-ending list of skills. Instead, keep this section short and targeted so that employers can spot what they are looking for right away. This portion of your resume is especially relevant to technical positions and technical skills because hard skills are quantifiable skills based on experience, unlike soft skills that are subjective. That's why you shouldn't list any soft skills or personality traits in this section. Examples of technical skills are computer skills, software skills, and language fluency. You should also list any particular training on methodology or operation of equipment or software that you have undergone. Include a description of your skills if required, and do indicate your proficiency and expertise level. Avoid listing skills that are very common and expected that every candidate has. To highlight your relevant expertise, you should also document any certifications you have that validate this expertise. Don't forget to indicate the certifying body and year of certification. Now, a section on achievements and awards is optional and should be used only if relevant and it suits your purpose. Here, you should mention all major achievements, any awards you have received or competitions you have won, and any major positions of responsibility held. Just be careful not to mention anything irrelevant or too old. In this last section, include anything relevant that will boost your application and doesn't quite fit in elsewhere. Examples of these are projects, information on your thesis, volunteer experience, uncertified trainings, workshops attended, or even hobbies or interests. But keep them short and again, only mention things that add value.